Welcome to What's the Tea with divine due diligence. Thanking God for lessons learned through time and experience. Hello, everybody. This is Divine Due Diligence, coming on here doing my due diligence to give you the understanding and the downloads that God has given to me to share with you all. I hope you guys are getting the gist of the information. I promise you, this was not a easy task for me to do. Yes, I'm outgoing, but when it comes down to delivering messages, it was kind of hard for me because I felt like a lot of people that were in the circle that I was delivering it to, that God had me to, wasn't receiving. So at the end of the day, we got to know who we are assigned to. I'm not assigned to a circle. I'm assigned to the world. So at the end of the day, this is a mandate on my life, which is purpose, to give you the understanding of how we are really supposed to live this reality of understanding life and experience it the correct way. I am not debunking religion. I want to say this right now. I am not debunking religion. I still believe in what I was brought up in. But that is only surface understanding. I am not taking away from it. I am adding to it. Which, if you have spiritual understanding compared to the belief system that you were raised up on all your life, a combined combination will get you to a place of peace, a place of understanding and not worrying, not suffering. You will be actually content in whatever you see yourself in. And this series is based on how you are living your life. Are you completely indulged in the same thing over and over and over again? You are living a karmic cycle that has not been broken. There has to be a way that you must break it, and it must go back to where it started. How did it get started? When was it embedded in you? Who gave you that idea? Everything starts off with the mental idea that you intake. So if you are not seeing yourself going in another direction and being at peace in the way you're living, then you are in a cycle that will consistently keep going on until you break that cycle. And we usually call them generational curses. If it's passed down, it's generational. And somebody must break it. And like I said, and you will hear me on a consistent basis with this series, will it be you? Will it be you getting to a place of understanding what is a consistent basis in your life? And where did it come from? Everything, I promise you, everything starts from a childhood. What you are around, what you learn, what was being taught, what you understand, how you seen things, all at a young age. So whatever you seen, you did, or you are actually living it out. I'll give you a prime example because I'm an example person. When you see a baby and they're around a person that's cussing, they don't know that's a cuss word. They're going to repeat what you say. So this is what I'm talking about. There are cycles that have been repeatedly going on, and you're not understanding that if it's coming to you, you must be that one to break it. If you don't break it, it goes to the next person that's seen it, learned it, understand it to be, or whatever the case may be, and they would have to break it. If they don't learn that lesson, then the next, it goes consistently down the line until someone breaks that cycle. Will it be you? These are things that we must learn, that, okay, if it's consistently going on in my life, where did I get it from? How that attached to me? What was it even for? Because when we go through these things, it's a lesson out of all of it. There is a lesson. But do you want the next generation to experience that same lesson that you should have learned from when you got the lesson? Because we don't keep on going around in the same cycles over and over and over because we learned the lesson. Somebody before us did not learn the lesson. That's why it was passed down to us to learn the lesson. If we didn't learn the lesson, then the next generation receives it. So we need to get to a place of really having a one-on-one talk with yourself, and then a one-on-one talk with God, and say, okay, I see what's going on, and now, God, I'm asking you to heal me, heal my land, heal my family lineage. These things we must do. I don't know about you, and I don't know about you, but I'm telling you, I don't want the things that were consistently going on in my life being passed down to any of my descendants after me. So this is why the journey I am on must take place. I have to be the one to stop women abuse. I went through it. It was a struggle. I have to be the one to stop narcissistic behavior. I went through it. I wasn't the narcissist, but I went through that. I got so at a point that I was drained. You will not look the same after you deal with a narcissist until you are released from it, because they're actually incubus and succubus. They suck you dry, whether it be mentally, physically, emotionally, or spiritually. You will no longer know who you are after you deal with a narcissist. Abuse is not nothing to play with. Women, why do you stick in something that you know has a life or death matter? You like in between. You don't know if you're going to die from this abuse that's been going on with you. That is a cycle that must be broken. Same with men. Because, hey, it's men out there that's being beat on by females because females have narcissistic traits too. You have to know what you're dealing with. Plain and simple. Know what you're dealing with. When we get into relationships, because we've seen this before. That's why we attract what we see, not what we know. We don't know what we're getting ourselves into when we get into relationships. But what we see is what we attract. Birds of a feather flock together. That is a normal saying that we all said. I promise you. Any given time we have said that. So if they are flocking together, they know that they have some type of same character traits. They may not look the same. They may not even act in different levels of the same. But there's something in you that's attractive out of that which you're going towards. And you don't even have to be a bad person. It's something that you have went through in your life that you are attracting or attractive from. At the end of the day, we must recognize these. Stop looking in a place where you need these things. First, you have to start loving on you. Understand what you're dealing with. We always want to enter into relationships or even friendships, no matter what it is, because we feel like we lacking something. If you go inside and heal the eternal you, you're not lacking anything. I promise you. Everything that you need is within you. So when you find people that say, I am comfortable if I'm with you or not, they have understand that I have everything that I need within me. You just an added bonus. You just an added bonus. So at the end of the day, we must structure our minds. Once we structure our minds, we structure our hearts to recognize that we must love us first. But it has to break the mental first. We have to break out of, I'm not abandoned. I am loved. I am wanted. Who is these people saying, I'm wanted, I'm loved? It's you on the inside. Because it has to first, what? Start with you. It really does. I had to go through this thing. I promise you. And I really felt like I can get love from people. And not even once did I think that I could get love from myself. I take myself out on dates. I take myself to the beach. I take myself riding. At the end of the day, it's me and myself. Not by myself. God, I have him. So when we recognize who we really are, this is the authentic you. You're able to love you without or with additions. And that's with everybody. Your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. You did not come here just for these people. You are really honestly not obligated to these people. We have an obligation from children for children because they were loners to us. At a certain age, that's not an obligation no more. Our parents, honestly, is not an obligation to us. Why do you say that, Divine? Because the Bible says we all have to work out our own soul salvation with fear and trembling. So wherein that says that we are obligated to these people, why we feel like we're obligated is because this big old word called love. And I'm here to tell you, love is honestly not an emotion. But we tried to figure, I had to get in my finite mind that love is not an emotion. Love is action. So what I do for you, I'm showing you I love you. I don't have to consistently keep on saying I love you. Because my actions are literally speaking louder than my words. But for me, the old me, do you love me? And I know it's a lot of you out here that have lived this or are living this. Love. Everybody subject themselves to this big old word, love. A 4-letter word that stretched beyond measure. But Jesus in the Bible, like, he never said that he loved anybody. It said like this. God so loved. He didn't say, I love you. He said, God so loved. Somebody said this. Not nowhere in the Bible, God said, I love you to somebody. I had to read this thing over and over. He said he loved with an action going to the cross to die for all of our sins. That was an action that he did. He showed you. So if someone is not showing you love, then you must have a question mark there. How do you love me if you're not showing it? And we're not talking about spending buku monies on you. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the necessary needs that a person wants. You need a hug? I give you that. You need a kiss on the cheek? Because the Bible says, greet a person what? With a holy kiss. That's an action. If you're sitting down communicating with a person saying, oh, do you need me to you need to talk? Do you need a lend an ear? That's love. Being able to sit with somebody in that hardship, love. It's not a necessary thing that you got to say, I love you. But a lot of people want to hear it. And a lot of people want to feel it. You can't feel it. And that's where we get sadly mistaken. This is why our emotions is rolling up. And we need to start unraveling them. Actually really purifying them. To understand truly, if you look in the dictionary, it tells you exactly what love is. And so if anybody is saying they love you and not demonstrating it, tell them to go to the dictionary and tell me what the dictionary is saying and start showing me that way. But then there it goes again. Did you receive love as a child? Was that something that you were given? If you had a lack in this, then that may be a situation that you have to deal with and heal from. Because everybody wants a mother's love. Everybody wants a father's love. Everybody wants to be loved by their family. Either way, what did you not receive? That you feel like you had to go out here and there and everywhere to receive it. But we must stop looking on the outside to receive this, because I promise you, you will keep looking all your life. Because maybe the love that you want, nobody can give that to you. I knew for me, nobody could give me the love that I wanted. I wanted to be loved so bad that I would go to the ends of the earth for anybody that said they love me. And now when I look around, I'm like, Dad, was that a lie? I'm not exempting nobody. This is where we all need to really look. Have a deep look. And I'm saying I'm not exempting the mother, the father, the sister, the brothers, the children, the grandchildren, whatever you have around you. This is a general message. We need to get to the point of where we're focusing on us. Because at the end of the day, the ones that's looking for it are the ones that's suffering. And we need to stop looking on the outside and look within us and find what we need within us. When we do this, we find God. Because then we start to question, God, what is this? And God, what is it that? Because we're trying to search. But without further ado, we're going into this. Identifying your personal relationship cycle patterns is basically learning to see the repeating emotional script your nervous system runs under stress, attachments, and intimacy. These patterns are usually invisible while you're inside them because they feel like normal reactions. They only become obvious when you met them across time and relationships. This does not exempt any relationship. Relationships are just what it is. It's a general statement in its whole. Starting with the core idea, your cycle is a repeating emotional sequence. A personal cycle pattern is not just who you date. It is a prediction, a predictable cycle or predictable sequence of emotional triggers, reactions, choices, outcomes, belief reinforced. Most cycles look like attraction stage, who you draw to. Emotional activation, what triggers you. Protective response, what you do under stress. Relationship outcome, what tends to happen. Eternal beliefs form. This is what love is. You are looking for repetitive or repetitiveness across all 5 steps. Step 1, identifying your repeated partner patterns. Looking across past relationships and asking, who do you consistently feel drawn to? Common trauma patterns category. It's a category, y'all. Emotional unavailability people, inconsistent communicators, people you need to earn attention from, rescuers, fixed types, controlling or dominating partners, emotional intense but unstable partners. Key question: what type of emotional energy feels familiar, even if it hurts you? Even if it hurts you, you want it, even if it hurts you. Familiar is the clue, not compatibility. Step 2, identify your emotional trigger pattern. This is the most important part of the cycle. Ask yourself, what consistently triggers me in relationships? Karma triggers: delay response, abandonment fears, distance or silence, anxiety or obsession, criticism, shame or defensiveness, conflict, shutdown or escalation, inconsistency, overthinking or chasing. Important distinction. You are not asking what bothers you. You are asking what instantly activates my nervous system into reaction mode. This is your cycle entry point. Step 3, identify your automatic response patterns. When triggered, you will have a default survival strategy. Most people fall into one dominant pattern. 1, anxiety response. Post cycle. Over texting, seeking reassurance, people pleasing, over explaining feelings, difficult letting go. Avoidance response. Withdrawal cycle. Shutting down emotionally, disappearing or distance, suppressing feelings, acting unbothered or unfazed, you want to say, while internally activated. Mixed response. It's a push and pull cycle. Chasing, then withdrawing, then returning. Chasing, then withdrawing, then returning. Emotional intensity spikes or collapse. Or collapsed. Key question. When I feel unsafe in love, what do I automatically do without thinking? When I feel unsafe in love, what do I automatically do without thinking? This is your pattern under pressure. Step 4, identifying the relationship outcome patterns. Now zoom out. This is you stepping outside the situation or what you've been going around in cycles and looking in and saying, how do I get back into this over and over again? And how does it end over and over again? What usually happens after the emotional cycle plays out? Common outcomes. Relationship suddenly ends after emotional intensity. Repetitive or repeated confusion or mixed signals. Feeling almost chosen, but not fully secured. Who in the heck want that? Staying longer than you should. I had a problem with this. Who had this problem? Staying in a relationship longer than you should. Repeated betrayal or disappointment. Yeah, we get to the nitty gritty here. Self-abandonment. Ignoring your own needs for somebody else? Hell to the no. You gotta think about you, baby. In every relationship, this is across the board. At the end of the day, what is fulfilling you? If you're not happy, if you're not at peace, that's a hell of a problem. I promise you. Sleepless nights, who want to go through that? Cheating, who want to go through that? Somebody annoying you, getting on your nerves, knowing that it's going to be a conflict. Who in the heck want to deal with that? Let's make it make sense. So your question you need to ask to yourself, what is the final emotional end of most of my relationships? I'm sorry if I missed you. Come back into the invite. That ending is part of a loop. It's a never-ending cycle. Let's say that again, Divine. That ending is a loop. And it will consistently keep going until you break it. You got to break it. You got to be the one that's fed up. You got to be the one that's sick and tired of the bullcrap. Step 5, identifying the belief that gets reinforced. Standing your ground, basically. Stand your ground. Every cycle creates a subconscious conclusion. Examples: I have to earn love. People always leave. I'm too much or not enough. Love is unstable. If I relax, I'll lose them. There are like 3 things on here that was a consistent thing for me. How many of them was for you? Key question. After every relationship, what story do I end up believing about myself or love? After every one? After I finish getting raised by my mom, or after I finish getting raised by my father, what did I get? My siblings, were they there for me? What was I getting? My children, was they just children? Did they show me that they love me? Or was they there just to use me? We gotta make these understandings. We gotta put all this stuff to an understanding and where they belong. Because if we don't put these things into an aspect of who is who and what is what, we'll keep reliving it. That belief is the glue holding the cycle together. Step 6, find the emotional cure wound theme. Most cycles are driven by 1 or 2 rooted wounds. Here are the rooted wounds. Abandonment wound. Aye, sir. Rejected wound. Aye, ma'am. Neglected wound. Aye, ma'am and sir. Betrayal wound. Look, we all can raise our hands because at the end of the day, we have all experienced these. Control, safety wound. Worthless wound. You find it by asking, what emotional pain feels the most familiar in all my relationships? Familiar pain equals rooted pattern. Step 7, map the full loop, your personal cycle blueprint. Once identified, your loop will look something like this. I'm drawn to emotional, inconsistent people. Or maybe it's like this. I feel anxiety when they pull away. Or I chase, overgive, overthink. Or they become more distant or overwhelming. Let's go to these last 2. I analyze or internalize. I'm not chosen. Last but not least, I repeat the pattern with someone similar. Man, I found myself in all of them. The old me. Because when we wake up to the understanding of our authentic selves, we release this. I'm telling you, the last heartbreak that I got ain't worth my time. Who wants to repeat cycles like this? 9, signs you are inside the cycle versus outside it. Inside the cycles looks like this. Strong emotional highs and lows. We in and out. We up and down. Obsessive thinking about the person. Oh, I need to call him. I need to call her. Oh, I need him. I need Mom. Help me, Daddy. I want my dad. All right. Confusion feels normal. Oh, this is the norm. They just like that, you know. That's how they act. I can deal with it. Okay. You justify inconsistent behavior. You said you was going to do this. All right, okay, I'll do it. You said you was going to do that. I did. No, you didn't. Okay, never mind. I'll get it done. You feel pulled even when it hurts. You longing for somebody or something that don't even want you. Man, I've been there. Longing for a person that's wanting somebody else. Wanting a person, knowing you just there, you just a backup. Who out there is tired of being a backup? A backup plan? Man, I do that with my jobs. I do that when I know I have something that's mapped out. That's an ABC. But people, we feel these things right here that we got ABC. Like we tell our look, car, long as you get me to A to Z, we good. We don't do that to people. Outside the cycles, clarity replace obsession. You notice patterns instead of being inside them. Emotional stability increase. Emotional stability increase. Attractions feel calmer, not addictive. You can say this is familiar, not healthy. While your brain repeats the cycles, important grounding. This is not a mystery, it is learning. Plus nervous system conditioning. The brain prefers familiar patterns, even painful ones. Attachment system prioritize known over healthy. Unresolved emotional memory seeks resolve or resolution through repetitive. So the cycle is your system trying ineffectively to solve old emotional data. Let's say that again, Divine. So the cycle is your system. It didn't say nobody but you. Your system trying to ineffectively to solve old emotional data. Biblical lens. This is the biblical understanding standpoint of what I'm saying. Patterns and awareness plus renewal. In biblical terms, this alignment with repeating flesh patterns. The flesh desires what is contrary to the spirit. Galatians 5:17. Renewal of the thinking, breaking cycles. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. Patterns, awareness before transformation. Test everything. Hold fast what is good. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Biblical framed. Cycles, old nature patterns. Awareness, light exposing patterns. Transformation, new identity, and renewing of the mind. The key insight most people miss. Your cycle is not primarily about choosing wrong people. It is about your nervous system interpreting intensity as connection and familiarity as safety. Point blank. That part. Once that flips, your attract and your attraction patterns naturally change. For real. No doubt about it. Then we're going to go to the next part. Emotional detachments. When is it healthy? Does it mean shutting down feelings or becoming indifferent? It means your nervous system stops treating attachment triggers or survival threats. That shift is psychological, not just philosophy. So instead of disconnecting from people, Real detach is decoupling emotional activations from automatic survival reaction. Step 1, interpreting the triggers. Reacting loops, patterns exposed. What used to happen? Triggers: distance, silence, inconsistency. It's a threat response. Anxiety, over obsession, urge to act, behavioral reaction, chasing, shutting down, overthinking. This is the karmic loop feeling. What detachment begins to do, you notice the triggers without immediately acting on it. This creates neutral gaps. Stimulation, awareness, delays, or delay, or you choose. That gap is everything. Nervous system effects. The amygdala fires less intensity over time. The prefrontal cortex reasoning stays online longer. The impulse control circuitry strengthens. You are literally training your brain. This feeling is not an emergency. Step 2, tolerating activation without feeding it, breaking emotional frustration or fusions of it. Before detaching, emotional activation equals action. After detachment begins, you feel anxiety, but you do not obey it. This is crucial. You stop reinforcing the idea that anxiety requires immediate relational behavior. Here's an example. Old patterns. No reply. Panic. Text repeating. Temporary relief. Stronger anxiety later. New pattern. No reply. Anxiety rises. You observe it. You do not act. Anxiety peaks, then falls naturally. Nervous system shifts. Cortisol spike still happens at first, but the reward loop, dopamine from compulsive checking and chasing, is no longer reinforced. Congratulations. I gotta give myself a pat on the back because I'm trying to tell you. I graduated from this one. Brain being learned or learning. Activation is temporary, not dangerous. Step 3, reconditioning attachment signs. Rewriting. Love equals stress. Got it? This is the emotional version. Love equals stress. Who in the heck wants to be stressed the heck out? Let's not get that twisted. Trauma wiring often equals intensity equals connection. Detachment slowly rewires this by repeating the experience. Calm does not mean abandonment. Distance does not require pursuit. Silence does not equal rejection. What changes biologically? The amygdala stops labeling neutral courts or cues as threats. Oxytocin system becomes less dependent on instability. Attachment systems recalibrate towards inconsistency. Over time, your nervous system stops confusing emotional intensity with emotional safety. Who has to be concerned with safety? You. But number one, nobody on the outside of you have to be concerned about safety because they are not the ones that's going through it. You are. You only can do what's best for you. This is where the cycle pattern begins to dissolve. Step 4, breaking the compulsive meaning-making loops. Before detaching, they don't text back. They don't care. I need to fix this. This is interpretation of spiraling, driven by threats, predictions, system. With detachment, they don't text back. I feel activation. I don't know the meaning yet. Nervous system effects, reducing default threats, storytelling, increasing tolerance for uncertainty, lower hypervigilance in attachments. This is the brain learning. Uncertainty is not dangerous. Step 5, identity in separation. You are not the emotional wave. This is the deepest shift. Before emotions equal identity. I am anxious. I'm abandoned. I am too much. After, emotion state. Anxiety is present, but it is not me. Neurologically, the median prefrontal lobe cortex strengthens self-observing functions. Libido systems activate, becomes less identity or identified with being driven. Emotional states decoping or decouple from self-conception. This is where guilt usually dissolves to, because you stop interpreting emotional response as moral failures. Step 6, reward system recalibrates, breaking trauma bonding chemistry. If past relationships had intensity or intensified cycles, hot, cold affection, inconsistency, emotional highs and lows, your dopamine system was trained on intermediate reinforcements, very addictive patterns. Detachment breaks this by not chasing emotional spikes, not re-engaging unstable feedback loops. Biological results. Dopamine stops spiking from unpredictability. Baseline emotional tone stability. Obsession, attachment cravings decrease. This is literally a non-chemical condition or conditioning. Step 7, nervous system learns self-regulation, replaces regulative or regulations far as you being stuck. Before healing other people regarding your emotional state. After detachment, your body regulates itself first. Signs this is happening, less urgency to fix emotional discomfort through contact. This is where you go non-contact. You don't need it, so why call them? Why deal with them? Why be frustrated with them? Leave them be. That's where your boundaries come up. You go about your business and I go about mine. I don't need you and you don't need me, because it wasn't nothing going on that was leveling us up to a place that we can go higher. So at the end of the day, we don't need each other. We must go our separate ways. Signs this is happening, less urgency to fix the emotional discomfort through contact. Ability to feel sadness without acting impulsively. Days, years, I cried. I promise you. You might go through that because it was a consistent thing in your life. So you never know how it's going to come up, but allow yourself to be free. Remember, crying, tears are releasing. Reduce dependence or reassurance for stability. Validation, you don't need it. Validate yourself. You don't need nobody to validate you about anything, whether it be love, self-love, how you look, what you want. None of that. You don't need it. Brain shift. Stronger vagal tone, which is a parasympathetic activation. Improved stress recovering speed. Less prolonged symptomatic activation, which is fight, flight loops. Step 8, cycle patterns collapse. That's what you want. The karmic loop ends. That's what you want. Step 8, cycle pattern collapse. That's what you want. The karmic loop ends. That's what you want. And it's what you need. Once all steps stabilize, hey, we got it going on here. It's stabilized. It ain't moving. We found it. We grounded. Hey! The old loop triggers panic, reaction, instability, reinforcement. No go. But new loop trigger awareness regarding or regulations. No reinforcements. Extinct of pattern. If you're not going back and say, oh, I need you. Oh, okay, can we work through this? Oh, let's do it again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's you're consistently reinforcing what you really want to get rid of. You want to go to the part where, oh, okay, that's what you're saying? What? You saying you gone? What? This what we doing? Oh, all right then. Goodbye. And leave it like that. And make sure it's a real goodbye. That means you ain't picking up the phone. You ain't texting. You ain't calling. You ain't trying to see about nobody's whereabouts. You don't even care. You is unbothered and unfazed. Do you hear me? Life goes on, baby. And that's with everything. What extent means neurologically? Symptomatic pattern or pathways weaken from non-use. You ain't using them fingers to pick up their phone like, baby, okay. Nah. Emotional triggers lose predictive power. That same old way they try to wean you back is the same old way you go back. That's a done deal. We done. Conditioning or condition response, stop automatic firing. This is why it feels like I don't react the same way anymore. I don't act the same way anymore. I don't have no reaction for it because you're not in my circle. You know where to be found, and neither am I. I'm on my path and you are on yours. You have to carry it when people consistently give their tails to kiss. You have to. There is a boundary that you tell them you ain't crossing. I've been healed and I ain't going back to that nonsense. Not suppressing, rewiring. Where guilt used to sit in the system and why it fades. You don't gotta be guilty about nothing that you feel that you are doing yourself justice for. What for? Guilt usually comes from believing emotional reactions, moral failures, over identifying what's or with attachment responses. Detachment removes guilt because you stop judging nervous systems, reactions as identity. You stop identifying it. And you stop being the one that identify with it. The biblical alignment framing, which we already know. Romans 12:2. You gotta renew your mind. In this context, renewal, new emotions or emotional interpretation system transformation, new nervous system response patterns. The key integration point. This is the whole process in one line. Emotional detachments rewires the nervous system by repeatedly experiencing emotional activations without performing the old survival response until the brain learns the trigger is not danger and no longer activates the cycle. That's 2, y'all. I gave you 2 in 1 tonight. We're going to keep this going. I'm trying to tell you, this is one thing that I had to learn. And it feels like a whole published book. Because every time I get down, I got to put it in perspective and put it in a detailed form where it's so that you can understand it like a baby, or the way that I was able to understand it. Going through definitions and books and studying and trying to figure it all out, because nobody had actually, even when I asked questions, I didn't receive the answers that I needed from grown folk, from people that live longer than me, been here longer than me. We must do these things for ourselves. This is where they say you must have a what? Personal walk with God. This is just not in church. This is out of church. Your physical, your mental, your spiritual, your emotional. These things have to be in alignment. And we must learn that our natural has always identified with our spiritual. Our spiritual has always identified with our natural. There can be no natural without a spiritual, no spiritual without a natural. Why do you say this, divine? Thy kingdom what? Come. The kingdom is already set in the heavenlies. He said it's come. That means how is it going to come? Where? On earth. As in what? Is in heaven. This is the prime example how we line our natural with our spiritual. Karmic loops in any way, in any shape, or any fashion form need to be healed. You will never move past to get to the promise until you heal these karmic loops that has lied dormant or proclaimed your life. You need to step out of your comfort zone and allow God to help you to identify what has been lying dormant and festering and being rooted into who you are now. Are you still consistently going through loops? Are you still consistently going through trauma? Are you still consistently going through pain? These are karmic cycles. And it never will be healed until you identify it and heal and move on. But until next time, this is Divine Due Diligence, coming on here with time, experiences, and acknowledgement. We must trust the process. I'm not going to say that it's easy, but I can promise you, when you go through it and you get to the other side, there is peace there. There is true love there. There is enduring mercy, and there is enduring grace. We must focus on what God has truly predestined and promised us. Until next time, this is just right on time. Divine Due Diligence, signing off, baby. Peace, love, and namaste. I'll be back to give you more of karma and dharma. What are you living? Which cycle are you on? It's not black or white. It's black or white. No gray area. We must stop being lukewarm because God is spewing people out of his mouth. Well, it's time for me to sign up. I want to say peace, love, and namaste.